Hi, Papa Bruce here. And as you could probably see if you look out the window here, I'm back in the desert. We're just going in for a quick trip. I wanted to talk about some of the changes I made to the pickup topper camper. And that's what I'm going to be using on this trip. And I've got a giant size, huge tarp. And we're going to put it up to just try to make a comfortable camp, do a little cooking and relaxing, and not much of anything. Maybe a little hiking too. So, thanks for joining me, and let's look for a spot right now. You have it set up. It's a huge tarp, and the way it's set up now would not be the way I would do it if I was going to protect myself from a rainstorm. But right now, I'm just getting out of the sun, because boy, I tell you what, it's hot here. But let's get a little closer look at how I've done this. I bought these poles on I don't know, Amazon, I think, maybe eBay. They're the most expensive part of the whole rig. This is not as fancy as a lot of the 370-degree rigs I've seen on some of the off-road vehicles. But then again, I'm on a rather fixed income. And I tell you what, this is not bad. It works pretty good. The poles were, as I said, probably the most expensive part of the whole thing. And I think they were about 30 bucks. If I was worried about rain, I would probably, let's go underneath, I would probably go ahead and put a center pole in to give it a little bit of a slant, but I'm not worried about that. The truck topper, tailgate, I've used pool floats that I've cut and slotted to protect the tarp from the corners. And then that helps hold it up as well. So that does a pretty good job. It's probably in the 80s today out here in the desert. And this is providing some shade. And it's a huge difference under here. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the camp set up, and then we can look at that. Dinner is going to be pretty simple. I was going to attempt to snare a rabbit. I've seen lots of rattlesnakes, rabbit sign along here. We're going to hike a little bit tomorrow, and maybe I can show you what I mean. It all looks pretty fresh, but it's also awful warm. And I'm not sure what the temperature was, but as I think I mentioned earlier, it had to be 80 or more, and I just don't feel good about eating a rabbit when it's that warm, particularly when I need to clean it and prepare it in the heat. And there's been a lot of bugs this evening or this afternoon. So we're going to go with an old standby. Hamburger mixed with kale. A very healthy dish. And I think that's good for me. And I need something good for me. So it's time to fix dinner. Not a camp cook expert, but it doesn't take an expert to cook this dish. I put my burger in the bottom of the pan and cooking it, and then put my kale, cut it up in fairly good sized pieces, bite-sized pieces, and let it just cook with the hamburger. Now I'll add a little seasoning to it, and that's it. Healthy, low in carb, just what I need. A little heart-healthy dinner. Good morning. It was a beautiful night last night. I slept really well, except for the bugs. I shouldn't have turned the lights on before I closed or put up my back curtain. But it's a beautiful day today. It's going to get hot, but I thought it'd be a good time to go for a hike, and I just want to look for some sign. I want to come out here sometime and just do a catch and cook, though I'm not sure what I would catch to cook. Probably snakes if I could find them. Maybe snare some rabbits, like I mentioned earlier. I guess that's about it. Well, let's just walk on down the trail a ways and see if we can see anything interesting. Oh my gosh. Perfect. I got to get a close-up of this. Got the camera set over there. I got to show you what we found. We talked about finding or trapping a rabbit. This is not deer droppings, this is rabbit, and it looks pretty fresh. Outstanding. Only one way to test it. Ooh, it's not too sticky. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Pretty fresh. Hard to tell what it's been eating, but pretty darn good. Pretty fresh. We'll have to set up some snares here. I'll get out of the sun and show you how these snares, what they look like. Boy, it sure is nice to take a break in the shade. Time for a little water, and I'm supposed to be in the low 90s again today. It's Halloween. Why is it so hot? Well, in the desert, you have to be sure to keep yourself hydrated. I mentioned the snare for the rabbits. I'll show you what that looks like. I've made up a few of them. Of course, I'm not going to use one now. It's just too darn hot. I'd hate to, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I'd hate to catch anything and have to process it in this kind of weather. But these are just little wire snares that I've made up. And hard to see. I've got a loop on one end. And it makes sort of a little noose, which you would hook to, that's a little small, but about like that, so that whatever came along could get caught in it. And then you could dispatch it, so you need to check these traps or snares very often. And of course, you never want to snare anything or kill anything unless you're going to eat it. So it's too darn hot to be eating rabbit today, so I'm not going to mess with it. We'll just put them away and do it another day. If this is the first visit you've made to the channel, thank you. It's good to have you along on this little adventure. We didn't get a whole lot done, but it was a fun time. And we're going to get ready to head home and turn on the AC and maybe get this edited so I can get it out on my YouTube channel for you. If this is your first visit to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps. It's sort of a hobby for me. I started to keep the family informed on what I'm doing. And maybe now, particularly after this video, I shouldn't be showing some of the things I'm doing. But anyhow, I'm enjoying it. I've got a lot of adventures coming up. As you can see, we're back in Arizona. And hopefully next week, I'm going to go out to one of the local lakes where we've been to before and try to catch some catfish. I've been brushing up on some of the techniques right here on YouTube from some of those anglers that really know what the heck they're doing. So join me for that one. Meanwhile, again, thank you for joining me. Please subscribe and share this if you feel like it's some value or you want to come along on the next few trips. I'd love to see you. So, have a good day and be safe and enjoy the outdoors.